what are your tips to stay positive during an injury that takes you out of the sport? Tommy, what do you think?
I think that's real. That's hard. But I think that injuries, I mean, it's not, I think it's not uncommon, and it's something that unfortunately I think all of us go through periodically. So those are very hard times, right? We obviously enjoy that pursuit very much, but the thing that because I've actually experienced some myself, different times when I've had to take weeks off, go get PT, things of that nature, work through it. But I think that it is about maybe flipping the switch and looking at that now as our purposeful training, right? That there's so many things that we have to do in that to come back full strength or even better. So kind of looking at it and working through it, because it doesn't just happen like at the flip of a coin or the drop of a hat that quickly, because when that moment comes and it's taken away and now we have to readjust, it's very hard to be positive about that. But what we don't want to be is neutral, because that's distracting us. It's stealing our time, and it's taking away from effort and energy that we can be putting into our rehab and our growth to ultimately come back and, set ourselves up. Because sometimes some of those injuries have been, they've come from imbalances or weaknesses or things like that. So it can be an opportunity to see that, okay, this is a thing that I can dial into to get even stronger. And now I'm going to be, able to go beyond where I previously was, because I'm going to have so much more purposeful built strength and these different routines. But positivity isn't always possible. And so negativity is detrimental, and it steals our attention and our focus. So in some of those instances, we want to just be neutral. Okay, well, maybe we can't be positive about it today, but what I can be is neutral. I can realize that this is where I'm at. I'm not going to change it, but this is an opportunity for me now to dial into something and rebuild myself in a way that I can come back and unequivocally be back where I was and probably now going further.
Man, you said something right there that I literally got chills in the back of my neck, and it's positivity isn't always possible. And as a generally relatively positive guy, and I think you're, similar, I'm still learning you, but man, that was good, because I think it's so true. And it's something that I've learned, that when you're in a good space and someone's not in a good space, they don't want to hear words out of your mouth. That's just, they typically, if they're not in a great headspace, they don't want to hear what you have to say. And so I forget that at times, and specifically like in marriage or with friends or whatever, it's like when somebody's having a shitty day, you're like, hey, the sun's shining, the birds are chirping. They're like, fuck you, everything's cloudy, And so your statement about being neutral, you don't have to be positive or negative, be neutral when you can't be positive. That was, man, mind blowing right there.
Well, I'm not going to sit up here and misrepresent things, because positivity is not always possible. There will be many things in our life that are going to happen right now. Some of this stuff going on, right? Like so many people have been impacted in ways that they did not cause, or the situation. So it's in everything. So dispelling that, right? Because people think that there's a lot that goes around of, okay, yeah, be positive, but it's the negative that we want to avoid. And recognizing that if that happens, that we don't have to like somehow miraculously try and be like, oh, great, grand, this just happened, and
opportunity.
But neutrality, because neutrality is going to allow us to come back in and be like, well, this is what it is, to use a very poor statement, but I'm in here, and now I can start working and being okay, not having judgment for yourself for having those feelings and thoughts. And recognizing that that's completely normal. Anyone else in your situation would be feeling more than likely the same way. But realizing that now, okay, this is where you're at. Let's be okay with that. Let's be neutral, and let's start working on that path back.
Man, that is so good, Tommy. So I want to bottle that up, because you said that, and I'm going to stick on for just a second, but I say that the world functions in a lot of the gray area. Like there's not a lot of extreme black and there's not a lot of extreme white. It's that gray area that life functions in. Yet I've never thought about mindset as that. Like you actually, if you can't be positive, be neutral. Obviously we're going to have bad days. We're going to have days where we're like, screw it all. I'm not getting out of the bed. I'm wearing my pajamas all day. But other times it's like, okay, it's not this for sure. It's not sunshines and rainbows and unicorns farting rainbows. But it doesn't have to be darkness and despair. It can be, you know what, today's just blah. I love that, man. You opened my eyes on that one. So I hope that everyone watching has kind of got that same vibe of going, okay, well, it's okay to just be neutral. I think that's a big one for me personally. So thank you for that. Mm-hmm.